When I was a kid, I didn't think that I was going to work with art when I grew up. Actually, when I was a small boy, I thought I would play basketball and be a tall guy, which is interesting other than anything. But they were that was just kids' imagination. But the thing is that when I was a child, at an unconscious level, I was preparing myself for what would come later in my life. That is, I was painting, I was beginning the practice of martial arts, I was studying. But then now I find myself painting, dancing. I find myself moving myself, creating art with my hands and with my body. And that is very interesting, my friends, because art for me, it goes beyond than anything. That is, nowadays art, the art expression in all its capacities, is for me what makes my heart beat faster. It's what allows me to be alive and to find some sanity in this dystopic reality. But the thing is that I'm still very perfectionist. Of course, I understand at a conscious level that perfection is unachievable and the universe is perfect as it is. But the ego still struggles with that idea. So, I often find myself criticizing my art, thinking that I'm not enough, or that I should do better, or that I will end up nowhere. But those are just words from the ego, from identifications. Because art itself is a free expression of a human being. And me as a human being, I find myself in this urge to express, in this urge to manifest what lies inside of me, in the depths of my very being. You know, now I see myself as this small point, this small piece of dust in a gigantic universe. But at the same time, I see myself as a unique expression. And at the same time, a flimsy expression, because this life here as a human is very short and I will die eventually. But I want to live the expression. I want to leave a message through my paintings, through my words, through my body. I'm making this effort to keep on doing that, regardless of everything that is happening around me. Because sometimes I let myself focus on the material reality and I get bummed. I get sad. I get lazy. But then I remember that the material reality is, in fact, a manifestation of my mind. Of course, the ego still struggles with that idea as well. But art is so freeing that it regularly shows one that is walking the path of art that everything goes away, that the expression must happen. That's very powerful, my friends, because in the path of art that I've been walking so far, I've met some great artists, professional artists, and they taught me so much. And at the same time, to be able to create with them allowed me to find higher levels in my expression. I'm just an amateur still. I'm still learning and I will learn forever probably. But I will keep doing it, not because I want to do something the greatest art piece or because I want to be famous, but because I want to share my message as clear as I can. Because, as I said at another video some time ago, life is a message, and being so, we need to be very careful with the message we leave in this earth. This earth is very sensible, and so are the beings that live here. That is interesting, my friends, because I see myself as that child, and that child sees me as himself. We are all kids, we are all childs. We are just infants running around like crazy. And as the world continues to spin and the generations continues to pass, we see the same problems, we see the same issues. And unfortunately, I don't see those issues ending or resolving themselves. But I see the reality changing, the people changing, the minds changing. And as the world changes, I change myself. I'm dealing with a lot of issues right now, psychophysical issues, psychological issues, physical issues, and all that, spiritual issues probably, like everyone else. And I'm trying my best to stay on the path, to keep focus, to maintain focus on what I want to do, on what I want to create. Because hardships and obstacles are always there. No man can go through life without things happening to him. And that is a painful truth, man. You know, as far as I understand it, it's a painful truth, because I would like to go through life without many things happening to me. But at the same time, what happens to us shapes us. You know what I mean? The bad experiences, the good experiences. And the process of learning is about that. To continue walking, to continue flowing, in order to learn from those changes, from those transformations. And art for me nowadays became a way for me to understand that process in a better way, more clearly, you know, because to look within oneself is not always pleasurable, because we are complex beings and we have within ourselves an infinite number of possibilities, an infinite number of symbols, of ideas, of possibilities. And how can we find ourselves? That is one of the questions that drive reality, that drive the human being, that drive knowledge. And I don't have that answer. But art for me is a part of that answer. For example, in that artwork, I just let myself express layers, colors, shapes, like the same patterns that happens in outer space. Supernovas, explosions of stars, you know, gases made of many different substances and molecules, you know, of elements and all that. And it seems all difficult to read, you know, those mix, but at the same time it's so beautiful, and we have that within ourselves. And in this artwork I tried just to express that, and how wonderful that was, because while I was painting it, I needed to let go of the idea of perfection. I just needed to let the colors come and spread in the paper. The layers and layers of psychedelic experience. There is no need to desire that. It's only need. It only requires the choice of letting it flow, of letting go of prejudices and predetermined ideas. It's all about letting it out, letting it explode. And I wish for every being on this planet that is alive that they have that opportunity to express themselves. And that's a powerful message, because through expression we can change our reality. Sometimes in another video I talked about how criticizing reality is one of the ways to change reality, and art is another way. The free expression can shock, can bring emotions, can create changes, and can change the mind of each and every person that encounters it. Because art for me is one of the greatest human expressions, and I'm very glad and honored to be an artist and to flow with art. Let us all find art in ourselves. Let us all express ourselves before it's too late. Because to be human is to express oneself. And to express oneself is to find the greatness within. After all, we are all growing together. And everything is mandala. We are one.